My name is Conte. I'm the head football coach here at Westfield State University. My first season here was this past fall, and implemented the option for these guys for the first time, and learned a lot about what we're picking up, what guys are struggling with. It was hard for me leaving the school that we'd done it for so long at, to kind of starting anew with guys that weren't used to being under center, guys that weren't used to pounding the rock quite like we're going to do here, but. I just found that through our installations and getting things off the ground, there's a few key things that really stood out early on, as to, maybe I can help break this thing down a little bit simpler for a guy, or, these are kind of the package plays that work for a team that's really new getting into this. So I kind of want to talk about some of that. I just did, one segment on the toss package, different ways to block it up front, and then a lot of key coaching points for the perimeter and perimeter blocking and setting the angles and little things to look for and things to avoid. And I want to keep going off of that with the rest of the package that we built off of toss. So toss is not an expensive play, depending on how much time obviously is up to you to put into it, but we do most of our work in pre-practice on toss, and then we can go out in a game and call it 15, 20 times. And I always say it's not a play off for the quarterback, but there's not a lot of thinking involved for him. The rules don't change a whole lot. It's just getting good players, perimeter players in space, the one-on-one in the worst case scenario. But good numbers, good angles. It's just a solid foundation of anybody that's trying to run option style. Needs to have some type of toss, a rocket toss package, or even jet sweep. Very similar, just a little bit different, tweaks in the fundamentals of it. But so if you're gonna major in the toss game, which I think you should, and we do, I think we also have to have the adjustments off of it. So that's what this portion is going to focus on, is basically the countering of whatever the defense is trying to do to stop it. So we'll focus on the pass game here first, and kind of how we take advantage of the way whatever defense is trying to stop it. So there'll be a little bit of all right. Full boot. Full boot's one of my favorites. We'll keep working the front. You know what? We'll change the front. Let's just mix it up. Get something different here. Let's go odd front. All right. And we're still triggering the same everything. All right. It's just where we looking. Okay. Now, play action stays the same. Okay. We are going to do the same as the half roll, where the quarterback's going to reverse, not quite the 6 o'clock, cell toss, and then he's going to push the edge. Okay. In the full boot, I like to cut down the wide receivers, or at least the play side wide receivers. Whether it's cover 2 or not doesn't matter, because we're going completely away from the cell. But we would line up like this anyways, if it was against an odd front, to give us the option to block level 1. So our wide receivers will almost always be in this nasty alignment when we have a man-on-man outside of the tackle, just so we can get the toss started. All right. I talked about that in the rocket toss package. So with a full boot, obviously we want to bring this wide receiver on a deep over route. Okay. And now how are we going to attack the backside? All right. So whether you got cover 2, we've triggered him. Okay. Overactive safety. Corner likely will shift to some type of man once the action goes away. On backside on an island. Okay. And you want to run a burst stem corner at him. Okay. The second option is going to be our B-back. All right. The B-back has one simple rule here. You are going to release on the same track as all the other toss tracks. You're going right to the outside leg of the tackle, and where you would be cutting the first thread off of the tackle's hip. All right. Instead, now we're going to chip through the outside half of the widest rusher. And the issue, the coaching point that you're going to have to spend a little bit of time on is this guy doesn't catch much passes. He hears whatever you call this play action. He wants to get open. All right, so he's going to want to find his fastest release. And we're going to run him into the flat here. Typically, we try to keep him at 5 yards. All right. And this is the pylon. All right. The simple read now, it's revealing itself, obviously, is now the backside corner. Okay. So if the B-back does his job well, all right, so, pinching 4 and the 9 off the edge, okay, we're going to go through the outside half. We're going to contact friction the outside half of that, because your number one rule is to allow the quarterback to run. Pull it down, finish your boot, and go. If we have an opportunity, we can get to the outside half of this, vacate the safety, and put the corner in the jam on the corner route here. Right? There's not much left that can tackle the quarterback. So your responsibility is to free the quarterback's outside run lane before you release on your 5-yard flat. The only other coaching point we've had on that is if it's a hard rush, if it is a legitimate threat to take your quarterback out, right, we will cut that and remove ourselves from the route. Okay? If it's a hard, squeeze that we can get outside of easily, it's a chip and go. But if this dude wants to get involved in the quarterback's boot, all right, we're going to have to cut that down at the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, release to the flat, okay? High-low in the backside corner. Typically, you're going to get this, all right? And you've either got the dump off to the B, or you've got an opportunity to pull it down and follow the B back in flat. All right. I always prefer the quarterback run, but they're always going to throw it. All right. They love to pass when they get the opportunity. The only other thing that we've talked about with the quarterbacks, it's kind of a cheat, right? If we know what we're getting, this wide receiver is almost always going to have a lane, all right? It's a one-on-one with a safety going in the opposite direction that has to peel back to cover, all right? If he's sitting and waiting, it's probably not the best time to use this cheat, all right? But if you have an overactive backside safety, I tell the quarterback, see if you can peek your eyes on your boot to find this deep over route, okay? And this over route is working wherever you want, all right? But we give them the over route landmark at 18 yards, all right? So boot, if we can peek our eyes to that deep over route, great. All right? Otherwise, it's a simple high-low read with the ability to keep the ball. Pretty simple. With the protection, we decoy the play side A and we wheel them, all right? And then everyone else up front is back to rip and run. All right. We have the B-back as the edge protector. The quarterback is full booting. All right. We don't need to be hanging out backside with a man scheme. All right. It's full rip and run. Try to influence the defensive line to the play action side. All right. And give your B-back the one-on-one with the widest rusher and your quarterback the run line. All right. So it is actually 3 different protections depending on the 3 different routes. That's been the best way for us that we've realized. Your play side wheel route is man slide. Your half boot backside is man slide. So we switch the sides. And then your last full boot is rip and run by your offensive line up front. All right. So those are the 3. The other one was same side wheel ball, half roll, crossers, pick on the backside safety, full boot. All right, take it on the backside corner. 3 different routes, 3 different protections, 3 different reads, okay? But each one of them pretty simple in their own right. And we carry all 3 without question.